Hi there. Well, this video is the last in our Welcome to Class video sections. And what we're going to talk about now is Pearson and how it relates to the class and Canvas. And we're going to start with Canvas. So when you go into your Canvas account, this is kind of what is going to show up. There may be a little bit more, but for most of our purposes, this is what you'll see. Now, you should have already gone through the video for the syllabus. The video on how to register with Pearson, because now we're going to get into Pearson and look at some of the different aspects of Pearson. So you should have done that. And so now we're here on how to use Pearson and Mymathlab and Canvas. Well, let's talk about Canvas and what to expect in the Canvas in this class. First off, here we'll have week one. It's roughly week one. I'm giving you a little bit of extra time because, you know, getting used to Pearson, getting used to how we test might take a few extra days. So it'll go into week two. Now, what to use Canvas for? First off, information for the week. I'll be posting that in Canvas. And so this is something you would click on and read in case there's any information pertaining to maybe some of the videos or what to expect. All right, so this is one aspect of Canvas that you'll need to use. Also, the main thing is that here are the links to each of the lesson videos. And when you click on those, it will take you right to the YouTube channel and to this specific video. So if you're working on the homework assignment and you have questions, you can come back to Canvas, click on this link for that section. Whether or not it's section 1.1 to 1.5, maybe it's section 1.6 you have questions on, 1.7 and 1.9. So each of these you can just click on, it'll take you right to the YouTube channel and to that specific video. So that's really nice. Now, this is something I've added this semester, and this is the homework that goes with that lesson. However, homework and tests are not a part of the Canvas. What this is a link to get you into the Pearson. Excuse me, let me shut off my phone there. Sorry about that. And so these are just links to Pearson. We can't, well, some of the teachers have tried and without much success, linking the homework directly into Canvas. And for some reason, these two platforms aren't compatible. So here, you don't have to use these. You can just go straight to Pearson. You would click on this and it'll take you to the Pearson sign-in. That's it. It doesn't take you directly to homework section 1.1 to 1.5. So Canvas is mainly used for the information for that week or that section, and then these videos, these video links that you might need. Also, there's a calendar here, over here on the left, and of course the calendar, because I put the homework here, it'll show up in your calendar. Even though it's not directly a link to that exact homework assignment, it does show up in the calendar, which gives you an idea of what's due and when. All right, so you can use that calendar. We can click that calendar. Let's see. Okay, so here on the 31st, you've got these homework sections are due. On February 1st, these homework sections and optional practice response lockdown. Excuse me. And then on February 2nd, the exam, which I have not opened yet. All right, so this just kind of gives you an idea in Canvas what's due. So then we're going to go back to the modules here. All right, so let's say you're you read the information, you kind of looked at the video if you needed to. Chances are you're going to want to try the homework before you look at the videos. And the videos are not required. You do not have to watch these videos. They're only there. I made these just to help you if you need it. So if you were to click this homework section, it'll be a link to Mymathlab. You can also go back to the student registration, click it, and there would be a link to right here, go to Pearson right here. Or you can use the specific one, or just bookmark it and use it on your computer. Just bookmark it for the computer. But let's just do this homework, section 1.5, and just show you. Okay, see, it's just a link to get you into Pearson. So let's go ahead and go to Pearson. I think that's all I have to discuss with Canvas as far as it's great for the video links and then also the calendar to see when things are due. Most of the time you're in Pearson. So let's go to Pearson and see what we've got here. When you push that link, you know, you've already registered from the previous video. So we'll sign in. Okay. My sign-in stuff is already done. So then you're going to get these boxes. I have a lot of them, but we're going to click your box, 0900 Spring 2022. This shows up. And okay, so this is kind of what you're going to see. The previous page was my instructor page. Okay, so you're going to have a calendar here in your class. Once you click that box, you can view the calendar. There is something due on the 26th. Let's just talk about this assignment right here that's due. It's a Pearson orientation, and it kind of walks you through some of the aspects of how to enter data into Pearson. I'll tell you right now that most people don't like Pearson because if you don't type something in exactly, it marks it wrong. So, which is kind of gets a little frustrating. But we'll talk about some of the ways to help you with that. Now here I've got a 2-week view. Oh, and going back to this Pearson orientation, I'm sorry, it's due on the 26th, which is, you know, 2 or 3 days after the semester started. And what I'm going to use this for is proof that you're enrolled in the class. And they want me to let the registrar know if you're attending class. And if you do this assignment, then I tell them you're attending the class. If you don't do this assignment, I tell them you're not attending the class, and they will, as being not attended, and they can pull scholarships and financial aid and stuff like that. So, and this assignment, I think, has 6 or 8 questions on it, real easy, not too time consuming, but that does have to be done right away. Now, you can over here, okay, there is a 2 weeks. You can also look at 1 month. Okay, so here we have a month. We have this that's due on the 26th of this month, of January. And here are the assignments that are due that following week. Okay, and then the test does not show up because I haven't opened it yet. So that now you can click on those dots and it'll take you to that particular assignment. Or down below, we have these right here, Pearson orientation due January 26th, and the assignments and tests are due at midnight. And here, the homework, section 1.1 to 1.5, you can start that. If you have trouble, then go back to Canvas, click the link for the video and watch it. And maybe you only need to watch certain sections pertaining to whatever you're having some issues with. Homework 1.6, you can click on that and work on that. And we're going to click on some of these and work on some of those, just to kind of give you an idea of what to expect. Now over here, it tells you how many questions. Don't let it scare you that there's 32 questions. Most of these assignments take about 30 minutes. You know, later on, some of them might take a little bit longer, but, you know, 20, 30 minutes, the questions aren't hard. So don't let the number of questions deter you from doing the assignment. All right, let's pick an assignment. Let's look at, oh, I'm sorry, I did forget a major thing. And that is to do Pearson, you have to allow pop-ups. So when you're doing this, in the URL, there'll be a little red flag if you don't have a Mac. We'll talk about Macs here in a minute. And you push on this and you always allow pop-ups for Pearson. Pearson uses a lot of pop-ups, and you won't be able to use Pearson until you enable that pop-up blocker for Pearson. And so if you push that, you know, always allow pop-ups for Pearson. And sometimes it takes a couple times where the computer finally figures out, oh, okay, you know, I'll always allow it. If you have a Mac, I'm not really familiar with Macs. You'll have to somehow disable the pop-up blocker for Pearson with your Macintosh. Another thing about Macs is that Pearson doesn't work well with Safari. So you need to use Chrome or Firefox. It might work for a while, and then all of a sudden you start having some issues. So kind of keep those things in mind. But you do have to disable the pop-up blocker for Pearson in order to use this Mymathlab. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at one of these assignments and kind of walk through it. This is homework section 1.1 to 1.5, 33 questions. You can start on the first question if you want, and we'll go back and I'll show you how you can skip around. You don't have to go in order, but let's go ahead and we'll start in order. So we'll click on question 1 or click start, whichever. So click on question 1, pop up. This is why we need the pop-up blocker disabled. Okay, so here's a question. Now, people have different numbers, so Pearson does change it for each user, which is kind of nice, I suppose. So starting on the left, identify the period of 8. Now, if you can't remember that, you could go back and watch the instructional video. The 8 is in the millions spot. So you would put millions, this didn't take us very long. And you can check your answer. Oh, it says good job. Okay. So when you press OK, it automatically takes you to question, this one. Oh, I need to move I'm going to move this right over here. Okay, sorry about this. This question number 1, we're on part 2 of 4. So some questions have more than one part. And so here now we're still on question 1, part 2. Identify the number in the thousands period for 8,365,204. Now the number in the thousands period is the number 365. So we would type in 365. Notice that when I clicked in the box to enter the number, down below, these little icons showed up. So let's say you had to enter a fraction. Your answer was a fraction. You would have to click this first. It will create a template and you fill in the template. Or if it's a mixed number, you would click this icon. It would put the template in the box here. Let me just go ahead and show you. See, it gives you a template to fill in if your answer happened to be a fraction. Or let me clear that. Maybe it was a mixed number. So then you would click this one and enter your mixed number. So you can see why some people don't like this, because it's a little tedious to click and fill it in. And then you just use arrows. I'm going to make them 2 and 3, 4. So 2, and then you can either click for 3 and click for 4, or you can use your arrows to move around. Okay, 2 and 3/4. You click in each of those sections. If you had an exponent, let's say 3 to the 5th, you put in 3. If you push this one down here, it creates an exponent to the 5th. All right, if that happened to be your answer, or x to the 5th. Okay, here's absolute value, square root templates. You can kind of play around with those. But our number, what was it in the period, is 365. And then we can check our answer. Okay, well, let's say I'm not quite done with this problem, but let's say I want to leave it. If you want to leave, you can press save. You don't have to, but some people like to, just to make sure. Or you can go on to another problem, even though you're not done with this one. And I'll show you how it shows up if you're not finished with a problem yet. You can push this arrow and it will take you to the next question number 2, or you can go to this right here. Now, if you look here, if you push this over here, question number 1, it's got this red X. What that means is you're not done yet. The green part, the green check mark means you're done, you got it right. This means you're not. So you could go on to question number 2 here. You could have pressed the arrow. You could go on to question maybe number 4. Okay, now it's going to tell you, listen, you're not done with this problem. Are you sure you want to leave this problem? Sure, I want to leave this problem. I go back to it. You can go back to it using these 3 lines here, or just click back to the one. This is kind of nice because it tells you what problems, are done and which ones aren't, and which ones you probably better redo. Okay, now, what does the digit 9 mean in the number? So let's say you don't know. Now, Pearson, you can watch the videos that I've done, but Pearson also has embedded some help. Now, if you look down here, this doesn't always occur in all of the problems. This is a help me solve this. You have to be careful of this. There's a difference between help me solve this and view an example. View an example is the one that students use the most. So help me solve this. If you push this button here, it will go through a lesson on how to solve this exact one with the exact number. All right. And when you're done, it will give you a whole nother problem to try on your own to get credit for question number 4. Now, those of you, if you're going on to like 1,000 or 1,400, you may have a question that has A, B, C, D, E, and F. And let's say you're on section D of this one problem. And if you say, help me solve this, it will help you solve the whole thing, not just that section, the whole thing. And it'll give you a whole new problem starting at section A. So you'll have to start the whole thing over again with different numbers. So help me solve this. If you're really lost, you can use help me solve this. Most students use view an example. And if you view an example, it gives you a different number than what your original was, but it helps you solve it with a different problem here. And when you go back, you start where you left off with the same problem. So I hope that makes sense. So view an example is what most use. And so here, a group of 3 digits separated by a comma is a period. There are 2 periods in this number. Okay, so then you can press continue, and it continues helping you. Continue, it gives you some ideas. You keep pressing continue, goes through the periods, and the last digit in the period is the 1s. Again, it's still kind of explaining things to you. And then when you finally get to the end, there's no more continue, it just says close. Remember that the position name of the 1's position is just the period name in the number 932,584. The digit 2 represents the thousands, the 1,000s digit. So you can close that and go back to yours. Okay, now also, like I told you, sometimes when you enter data, you think you're right, but it keeps counting it wrong. You can view an example because maybe you're not entering it right. Maybe you're not rounding to the right number. Maybe they want to enter it as a fraction. Well, if you go to the end of view an example, you'll see how they want it entered. So that helps in that way too. So the 9 is the 9,000s. Okay. Oh, what happens if you do it wrong? Let's say 10s. Let's just say it was the 10s. We're going to put 10s even though it's wrong. It says that's incorrect. It kind of gives you a little bit of a hint here, and you can press OK, and it'll let you try it again 3 times. And if you don't get it in those 3 times, it gives you a whole nother problem to try 3 times. And you can keep doing this and doing this. You're not limited, but you only get 3 chances on this one where it looks like this one before it'll give you another question number 4. So anyways, let's say we'll go to thousands. Check answer. I mean, you can repeat it as many times as you want to get it right, but it only gives you 3 with those exact ones, and then you'll have to, then it'll give you another problem, different numbers. Okay. Now, all right, so then you got it right. So then it's going to give you question number 8. I wanted to look at a different one. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this and we're going to go to a whole nother homework assignment. And my caution to you is that, you see, you don't really normally have to save all this. You could close it and we're going to leave it. And it's save the answers, but some people like to save it. The thing is don't open more than one assignment at a time because Pearson will not save it. And so make sure you close the assignment before you go on to another one. And here it says, okay, we got question number 4 right. We still have question number 1 is partly wrong. The current score is 4.17%. And then here, 10% deducted from questions completed after the due date. We may as well talk about that now before we look at another assignment. If you do, if you are late with an assignment, then, you know, I mean, if you have an excuse or, you know, things are going on, just let me know and I can always extend the assignment date for you. But if you turn an assignment after the due date, it would give you full credit on question 4. You'd get full credit for part of question 1. Anything else, it's going to deduct 10%. So rather than getting a 10 out of 10, you're only going to get a 9 out of 10 on that problem. But it will give you full credit for the ones that you did before the due date. So that, you know, that 10% is not that much. It's not that much. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to go back to assignments. Let's see the fastest way. Sometimes if you click this, well, okay, I just click the arrow. Sometimes it kicks you out and you have to re-enter it again. We're going to look at, I wanted to look at maybe 1.6 because I want to look at some of the other help. Let's look at, well, no, 1.7. 1.7 and 1.9. I want to look at that assignment. And I wanted to look at question number 4, just to show you how you can get some help or additional help. This one doesn't have it. Sometimes, okay, see, okay, solve by trial. Let's go ahead and try this one, sorry. The solution is, okay, what times 23 gives you 0? Oh, it's 0. Okay, any number times 0 is 0. Check answer. So you see some of these really go fast. No, I want to go to a different one. No. Here we go. No. Well, that's all right. We'll do this one. Okay, what can you add to 52 to get 55? Well, you can add 3. So 52 plus n plus 3 equals 55. You can just do that in your head. You could subtract 52 from both sides, whichever way you've learned. Now, on a test, some people have done n equals 3. You know, you're not wrong. Pearson's going to count it wrong, but you're not wrong. So if you do something like this on a test, because you see it already had the n equals 3, but let's say you type it in again for some reason, I will go back through the test and I will give you full credit for this. All right. So even though, so after your test, if, you know, I go through them and if Pearson was way too picky, I will give you credit for that. So that, you know, just kind of keep that in mind. But the answer is n equals 3. It would not accept the other one. I'm looking for view an example, help me solve this. 1, 7, and 9. I don't see it where you can look at the textbook. There are times, and I might just have to tell you about it. There are times where you can, down here is a go to the textbook. So you can push that button and it will go to the page in the textbook because it's embedded and help you solve it that way. If you want to, just kind of be aware of that. Okay. All right. So we're going to leave this assignment right now. And I want to talk about some other help. And when you do the orientation, it'll talk about a few of the other ideas and entering in the data. So hopefully you'll learn some stuff from that as well. Also, welcome to Mymathlab. This will also help you enter some of the data if you need to. I also wanted to, one more thing is talk about this bar over here. Your grade is not found in Canvas. Your grade is found in Pearson. Now, there are a couple of ways to know your grade. And the nice thing is you looking here, you can find your grade right after you do an assignment. There's one place over here on the right side of your screen, this 3%, because we haven't done much of those homework assignments. So there's your grade in the class. Or you can go to Student Gradebook over here in this left-hand column. You can push Student Gradebook, and it's slow. There we go. It'll tell you how much you have on your homework. Quizzes, we don't have to worry about. I'm not doing quizzes. Tests, you know, once you complete a test, your grade is right there. It's real time. It tells you the homework assignment and your current and total score on that homework assignment. But one other thing here, let's say you're reviewing for a test, and you may not have to review for the tests in this class, but in another class, you can go to Gradebook and you can review the assignment. Reviewing the assignment in Gradebook, when you hit review, it will not change the grade that you have for that assignment. All it does is allows you to go through problems like it, and it reminds you up here at the top, you're reviewing your homework. Any work you do here will not change your score. So this is a good way to practice some of the problems for the test if you want to. As you know, you can click it, it'll give you, some different problems you can look at, but it won't change your score. So that's one way to review for a test is in Gradebook, as well as finding out what your current score is in the class. So if you don't really need to ask me what your score is, just go to Pearson, go to the Gradebook, and it'll tell you what your grade is in the class. Other things over here that are really nice is video and resource library. Now, I have done videos on YouTube for each of the sections. So you don't have to use those. You can use this video and resource library. Also, other classes you may be in with Pearson, this can be a real help. For instance, if you're in an in class and you miss a day, let's say you missed fraction notation, multiplication and division, chapter 3, you were gone or you have questions, chapter 3, section 2 on factorization. So you go over here again, we're in the video and learning. You pick a chapter and a section, and we're just going to go, we want all the help we can get. Fine now. So Pearson's going to go through, and down below, find the help for you. You can watch an animation on prime factorization. You could look at the textbook on prime factorization. The textbook is embedded. You can look at some chapter test prep videos, and it might help you with that question, a PowerPoint. And here are videos that I did not do, Pearson did these, and on prime and composite numbers, prime factorization videos that you can watch. So that is also there. So there are some real helpful things in Pearson itself, if you want. So again, that was in the video and resource library. You can just pick the chapter and the section, and that will help you out. So, all righty. Let's see. I also wanted to remind you that you'll need to watch another video. It's in, I'm going to go back to Canvas here real quick. At the bottom of week 1 is a video on how to install Respondus for exams. And then there's an optional practice test for that. Remember that Chrome and Respondus do not work together. So if you are using a Chromebook, you'll need to find a computer in the library, in the Math Center has those in order to take your exams. Well, I hope that helps, as far as what Canvas is used for, mainly the information and then the video links. And then also, let me see if I can get that. No, I don't want that. Ah, there we go. Also, the main menu. Let me make sure, student view. And also how to do your homework in Pearson and the grades, and they're all up to date. And Pearson, you just click on it and get started. You can stop at any time and come back. I just want to caution you, don't have 2 homework assignments open at the same time. If you just minimize one and open up another one, not a safe thing to do because it won't save it automatically. Normally it saves it automatically. And so right now you just need to get a Pearson account, which you already have if you're watching this one, do the Pearson orientation. And I really encourage you to contact me if you ever have any questions. I really want to help you, and because sometimes it can be a little overwhelming until you get started, and then you're good. You're good to go. All right. Well, I think that's as many things as I wanted to talk about. Just again, you're going to have to make sure you enable those pop-ups, or sorry, disable your pop-up blocker. All righty. And let me know if you have any questions. All right. Bye.